The chaos reigns.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
All right. Uh, in a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, murder, rape, theft, and all forms of atrocities that plague the world in which we live in today, what we're witnessing, we are living in a state of chaos. I take more greater or extremer chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today. Hello, everybody. What's good? What is good? This is Chaos right here. Tonight's stream is an important stream, and so important that it has to be evaluated about the education and the future education of minorities / black people. And as you know, what's been going on through the judicial branch, the Supreme Courts and stuff, our country is going to be pretty much revert back to almost what has always been in this country, normalcy, where the majority run and rule over the minority. To the point now, you have some decision to make as a man, woman, when it comes to your children. But before we go further, I like to turn people to the links to follow me. You can follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. Add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Ray on Facebook. Follow me on Rumble. As you know, I have a Rumble page now. So, and matter of fact, let me drop my Rumble page so y'all can see. I'll find it. And let me see. I'll give it to you that. And also, please, what they call it? Join the Discord service of the Chaos Reign show as well. And I'm just looking right now. So those are links to follow me. And please subscribe to the Chaos Reign show as well. Subscribe. And make sure to join the membership of the Chaos Reign show as well. As you know, memberships, are 2 tiers. And with the 2-tier membership, you could pick between what's the price? I think it's $2.99, and the other one's like $7.99. And usually $7.99 is usually for the topper tiers. As you know, with either tier as it grows, I will throw some exclusive videos for members only. I have one already. I might plan to put another one. and maybe do a members live, depending how many people are members to the channel. Membership of the Chaos Rain Show, please. Working good. Yep, look like everything's working well on its way. You know, it amazes me sometimes that people think that we have reached the promised land in America, but really, truly, we did not reach nothing at all. And we have a lot more work to do to get where we need to be. And I'm not sure it will ever be accomplished because a lot of us are just too comfortable. And really, truly, what the future holds, I just don't know. And I'm just looking through some things, guys. Because I'm scrolling for my feed. But anywho, let us look at this article. And the title, it speaks for itself. What holds the future of the education for minorities in America? I think it's a fitting title. As you know, in the last 2 weeks or week or so, we have that affirmative action is no longer going to be affected for those that are able to get into PWIs or even as far as workforce in the working fields. Usually they always go through, let's say, select numbers or keep the numbers in regards to how many people they could hire. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. And y'all guys not going to really like this. I don't give a damn. I got to be truthful and honest with y'all. And hear me well. Listen good. All races of people except black folks. And I got to tell it as it is and tell the honest truth. When you have your own work, employment, or corporation, majority of other race people hire their own. And this is not just white folks. This is all races on the whole color spectrum. And I'm telling y'all this is because y'all don't really understand how this game really works. And it's intentionally to do so that every race of people hires their own because they look after their own. Why wouldn't they not only look after their own but self-preserve themselves? And I always think, what made it to the point where a lot of black people doesn't have the desire or even the inclination or thought to self-preserve self? So because of this, black people today have been always been not only on attack but in big trouble. And, and you know what's funny? As I'm looking for my feed through social media, I'm noticing that a lot of people are getting a lot of attention from this cat that was on these two so-called Island/African Brothers podcasts using the N-word in front of a lot of black women, and a lot of black women were egging her on. And I might have to do a show on this. I'm just gonna try. I did listen to the whole stream, and I did not really catch it first time, but now someone that played it on another stream showed the actual word when he said it. So now I'm have to go back in and find any portion of that tape where the N word was used by this so-called young chippy Caucasoid. Anyway, enough of that. Let us look into this. And before I begin, I would hope that during every broadcast, y'all guys go in and leave a comment. I'm looking forward to hearing from y'all, your thoughts and feelings and opinions on mostly every broadcast. And like I said, I have not really gotten real chaotic, like really been really seriously chaotic on my channel. But I feel like I'm getting that feeling that I will go there to let y'all know. Like literally, I will go there. But anywho. So now, this article, like I said, affirmative action is no longer is now actually removed. So now, what is next? Brown versus Board of Education next to fall. Now, mind you, they were talking about removing affirmative action back in November, and during that same month, because I remember I've done a broadcast on this in detail, and I did even now the conclusion part of this broadcast. So now we got to look and take a real analysis of this article that was written last year, May 9th, 2022, on the focus on the Brown versus Board Education. Let's go into this article. Hammering of justice. The Supreme Court drafted majority opinions to strike down landmark Roe v. Wade. The deletion decision has some conservative thinking. It's now time to dismantle pillars of federal education laws. You see that? Pillars of education law. I hope y'all hear me. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, a Republican, told a conservative radio outlet and reports last week that he sees an opening to overturn Pillar versus Doe, a 40-year-old proceeding protecting the right of undocumented children to receive a public education. Let's read that again for those that's not knowing this. And let's be honest, I'm not sure we have any Democrats or Republicans that will be listening to this broadcast tonight, or or catch replay of this. But I always hear that there's been an issue that there's no more jobs. They keep importing more people that are what we consider not documented immigrants to come here and conflate the numbers, really mean adding more to white life, not white flight, in regards to seeing that America has more European people in this country. And in doing so, they provide these people that are not born here in America, but are foreigners like the Europeans of past, present, and future, incentives to get the ball rolling. I think most people they were no, my phone. There was a certain people in a certain country, if it slipped me right, how they were able to come here, and this happened like recently, and they're getting education incentives, bonuses, housing, and all other things to come and have a better life than they have over in their homeland. I can't remember what the country is again. It slipped my mind. But this was recent. This is like 2 years ago. But me bringing this to our attention, have you been aware that these people that are, let's be honest, non-black, that they're importing here, are having a better outcomes and have a better success in his life than people that's been here? Have y'all noticed that? And the reason why that is because the government makes deals with other nations. And the assistance of foreign aid plays a part, but it's much deeper than that. If you're a foreigner, you can get yourself and make yourself pretty well established, and if you do it well, you could be pretty wealthy in America. But if you're a regular American that's been here for more than 2 or 3 generations, if you wherever you are, you're going to have to fight hard to maintain it. Even to the point, if you slip up, you could be rock bottom if not careful. Mind you, if not careful. So now, let's keep reading. Other claims to have even bigger ideals. Next stop, Brown versus Board tweeted Peter Brimlow, a former National Review, writes a founder of Vidar, an organization and media outlet labeled as a white nationalist hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. President Joe Biden has expressed worries about the pending ruling bordering implications concerning the draft, suggests that every other decision related to the notion of privacy is thrown into question. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona tells us he's certainly concerned about the potential impact of school too. And we're not talking about you getting your loans and your student loan debt relief in a mirror of a period of under 10 years. No, you're not getting it. And the Supreme Justice was never going to allow it because they make too much money off of you going to school, getting either a useless or unuseless or overpriced degree and putting you in an exorbitant amount of debt. With regards to education, it really is important that parents and educators and students pay close attention more than ever before because they can have implications in the classrooms. Cardona says to her host about the court's draft decision, education is seen in many places is under attack, which it should be. Here's the thing. Legal experts say there are no hidden clues in the abortion decision drafted that suggests the court next wants to scrap Brown, Pillar, or other school influencing proceedings. That doesn't mean conservative justice wouldn't have sympathy for abating arguments or other challenges if they made it onto the court docket. It is creating the perception that long-standing doctrines, particularly ones that the right doesn't like, are open to be overturned. Derek Black, an education and civil rights expert at the University of South Carolina School of Law, said of the draft written by Justice Samuel Alito, supports the views that might have once occupied the fringe of political thought. Black said in an interview, may look at the decision and conclude there are 5 guys and girls who are fully on our team now. So let's go for it. The Monday, May 9th, welcomes to weekly education among the Republicans in the most competitive Senate election contest. Reactions to pending Roe decision has been muted, marked by statements in support of overturning landmark ruling and great caution to avoid placing abortions at the center of the campaign. Reach out with tips to today's host, Jay Perez, Plankto.com. Also, main colleagues Michael Stanford and some other stuff. And there's some future something about June 11. I'm just going now. All right, guys. I'm trying to think how to proceed with this. I'm just going to, I'm just going to proceed where it is, and I'm gonna have to start. All right, guys. I'm just gonna go back to see where I stopped. All right. To make no mistake, the Supreme Court is already in a position to influence future educational practices, and this is on the docket. Two forthcoming decisions could carry significant consequence for educators' speech rights and public funding of religious schools, and the pillar target by Abbott is vulnerable to being overturned. Experts told weekly educators, but pending deletion decisions doesn't offer a legal road map for the future course of educational law. People are praising the opinions for clues about exactly what its logically implications are, said Michael Dorff, a Cornell Law School constitutional law expert who has predicted that the court's deletion ruling has more profound disruptions in stores. You're not going to find the implications of the opinions in the precise wording. You're going to find it in the value and willingness to push from 5 justices of the Supreme Court. Don't be on overturning Brown either. Those suggestions of the 1954 decision to strike down school racial segregation is at risk of contamination from Roe fallout. Blacks said are simply elevating the voice of people who just happen to know how to log on and create a username on Twitter. Brown, unlike Pyler and Rhodes, is considered to be one of the court's top five shining moments. Black said it is not in jeopardy. Moreover, the court stopped enforcing Brown in any meaningful way about 40 years ago. So what is it that the Brown is protecting at the point that society is actually doing? The answer is not really anything, or not really nothing actually. And it's a picture of the man about who messed with Texas, a Lone Star state bid to overturn another landmark education ruling might have better prospects. Abbott told a conservative radio host last week that he hopes to resurrect a challenge to the Supreme Court narrowly deciding 1982 Tyler ruling, which struck down a Texas law that unhealing states funding for the education of undocumented children in the United States. Now, mind you, this is now 41 years ago. So keep that in mind. 82 to 2023. The Supreme Court has ruled states have no authority themselves to stop illegal immigrants into the states. Abbott, which said during a campaign event, the Texas Tribune reports, however, after Tyler's decision, they said nevertheless states have to come out of pocket to pay for the federal government failures to secure the borders. So one or both of those decisions will have to go. Abbott didn't offer a potential timeline for the ideal or set out how it might work. The head of the Mexican American Legal Defense and Educational Funding, which brought the lawsuit to challenge the original Texas law, said by Abada. Commentary emphasized the dangers of dog whistle populism in the style of Mr. Donald A. Trump. Taylor is very well established law by Thomas A. Swint. And let me move these things. Thomas A. Susan Maldoff, President and General Counsel, said in a statement last week, it is now incorporated into federal statutory law through a provision expressing indication that Congressional would not interfere with failure rights as the sought to restrict other rights of immigrants in 1990s that is distinct from Roe v. Wade, which has unfortunately been subject to congressional undermine for many years. But two experts say that if Abbott signs off on an executive order or legislation approved by the state lawmakers to set out a new ban to permit courts challenging to stop it, a failure itself could face a rocky path before high court conservatives. I don't think failure is potentially vulnerable, said Dorff, the Cornell Law School professor, but I don't think that, especially because of the overruling of Roe, except the extent that the overruling of Roe would signal a kind of general proposal aggressiveness on the part of the conservative wing of the court. From a doctoral perspective, I would say there is zero in the Roe draft that would give anyone any bias in law for believing that Texas can run out and pass a law that would restrict access to education for undocumented students, adding blacks from the University of South Carolina, but it creates a perception that someone might be willing to hear. And we have a picture of the children in the school. Polar Watcher, the latest survey data from Morning Consult and the EdChoice think tank, tells an interesting story about the future outlook of teens and the parents of American high schoolers. Polling conducted throughout March of this year shows a broad share of high school parents are optimistic about their children's future. In fact, the survey shows parents are far more likely to feel positive than their children. Teens have more neutral overall outlooks, a finding that pollsters said could indicate their uncertainty or indifference about the future. EdChoice also concludes that high school parents are more likely to believe their children is ready for life after high school than teens whom they are, especially those planning to attend college. Do y'all believe that? Do y'all really agree with that? 1 second. So, I don't know about that one, guys. I still know. For every teen appears to be planning to attend a 4-year college after high school follows 2 years of, the pandemic, while roughly half teens still plan on attending college after high school, despite the pandemic. Fewer teens said they were inclined to pursue higher education now that they were before the you know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, educational choice found that more than half of teens said they want to learn at home at least one day per week. Teens are split on their preference between full-time regular schooling and hybrid schooling. The organization said 10% of teens said they did not want to attend school in person, down from roughly 20% in March of 2021, which is now 2 years ago. The polls were conducted March the 12th through the 27th among the national sample of 1,000 teens and March 12th through 24th among the national samplings of 1,030 high school parents, resulting from the full survey had a margin, a sample error of plus or minus 4 out of 5% points for teens and 4.3% points of parents. And it's going now to wrap this up. Update Section 504. The Education Department on Friday announced plans to update regulations of federal law that mandates how school and college must accommodate students with disability. That's Bianca report. And this will be the first update in 45 years to the regulation for Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Oh, wow. 45 years. So, 29. So that's roughly in 60. I think that's 77. I think 1977. But anyway, Katrina Lamont, the Department Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights, said in a statement, "As we observe the 45th anniversary of those important regulations this month, it is time to start the process of updating them." Section 504 prohibits disability-based discrimination in public and private programs, activities, and receive federal funding. It requires schools to accommodate students with disability by giving them more time on tests, preference seats arrangement, and aside help them learn plus support. I don't know how my son will survive inside the dangerous shortage of special formulas. The children left behind by, the thing. And, that's the end of this. In this article, I probably will save somewhere. And then this is like came out last year. So I'm gonna go in the chat room and maybe put this here, or I might. Yeah, y'all gonna have to probably ask for this article because I am not gonna. I ain't gonna do all that. It's not gonna do that. Sorry about that, guys. I'm putting the chat room for y'all to follow. There you go. Now, what this all means? What does it really all mean? I'll tell you what it means. What it means is that if you're a parent and you value where your kid or what education your child needs moving forward, you're going to have to be very much attentive now and take more action than you ever before as single or together. And I'm saying this personally because as I look at the state of education, which is already not high, is you guys got some decisions to make. You got some big decisions. And right now, the states are rolling back the hands of time as we see it. And matter of fact, let me give the call number for those that want to chime in. The call number for tonight's show is 717-908-1834. I repeat, 717-908-1834. Access code 917324#. This is the future of education. It's here. My overall take on this, if they are rolling back affirmative action, then the last but not least thing they could start rolling back is where your children really can go to school with certain groups of people. Now, as I see it personally, I see it like this: that education, as we know it, did not really have no significance. If you have children now and you want your child to be very productive or work for somebody else, you're going to have to take the time now to really invest your time and yes, some money, or if not, you might have to start buying the material, and you're going to start slowly educating your children either by yourself or you're going to make the time to start, reinforce and give more extra education to your own child. And I say this because when we look at the state, especially of the black boys especially, that the black boys are not in no good state right now because most black parents today are not putting the emphasis in the time to really get their boys at level. Meaning, one weakness that we hear a lot from the black males or the young black boys is the reading level. Now, if you can't read proficiently or read well enough, everything else you do is not going to have no relevance. Now, if you do math, that's one thing. But in this world, we still have to look at words, read words, and comprehend what is out there. And the way how I see what technology is doing now is not bettering, and I'm being dead serious, and you must hear me out. Follow me, please. It is not bettering yourself or your children in regards to how well you comprehend and read. What I mean, we have apps now. We have AI that does most of the more longer work simple for us. Artificial intelligence like ChatGPT can do most of your writing if you know how to use it properly. We got things like Speechify, which could sit there and read you your books in a form of PDF. These things that's now presented to us actually does not strengthen or heighten your understanding of the material. It actually makes you more dumber. Now, I'm not saying I don't use some of these tools. Some of these tools are pretty decent if you use it right. But overall, just like most people, depending on what generation you're born, you have to learn the old-fashioned way, where I have to write things, read the actual books, which I have books now, and you have to put in the time error to try to comprehend what you read, even to the point where you might have to write down what you read. But now, because of technology is eliminating those small sections that makes us have to use our brain power and our muscle memory with our own hands, you lose that, and you probably lose that much faster. I could tell if any person that does not still able to write things down on a piece of paper, but they're typing, I guarantee you lose that muscle memory, how to write things down and spell it right off your head properly, a sentence. Because the technology made you pretty lazy and always keeping tabs on writing things down on paper. And I'm not making fun of y'all, I'm just keeping it real with y'all. So what can y'all do? What can y'all do? Y'all gonna have to do the little work. Do the work. Gonna have to do the work. There's no way around it. So let me pick up the first caller. All right, caller, who's this?
Yeah, I know it's early in the show, but I just wanted to make a comment. What's up, Gary? To what you said, man, I think is a real important point of what you made, wherever you're going with this. But right now is like, listen, you can't be scared of technology. And if you're scared of technology, don't use technology. Go back to the old ways. If you have children, you have to attend more to it. If you're upset about it, this is what the world has been constructed by. It wasn't constructed by children. So it's adults that made this world that we live in. As much as we don't like a lot of technology and all this stuff coming up, we humans are the ones creating it. And as adults that give the tools to the young people to do whatever they're going to do or not do. So I'm just saying that it's a good point that you said that, you have to be more involved. You have to be more attentive. There's no way that you're going to be dealing in the modern world and you're not using a phone or a computer, right? So that means, like you said, you have to be aware of what your children is doing, what they're doing, and you're giving them the tools. So, yes, if you want to be a parent in this time, it's very challenging with all that is being done. But if you want to, be upset of how the world is, like other hosts that be on here, guess what? Blame all the older people that was older than you that left this earth the way it is, and now we got to deal with it. And be mad at the people that started working with technology and created technology to all the things that you hate in the world, like the internet, like a phone, a smartphone, cable TV, television, and other means of communication that people seem to hate, but they still use it because it's part of their daily life. Keep it going, Gary. Thank you for coming out tonight. I'm going to be listening.
All right, thank you. One second, guys. I'm trying to find the call number. I'm trying to do something right now. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. I'm just looking right now, make sure. Okay, sorry. All right, because I'm trying to spread the word out. Okay. So, yeah, I like that. Like that, Jay. And personally, JNYC, that's where it's at. Parents are too lazy today. Too lazy. You see, laws are being pushed back because they know that people overall are complacent and lazy. And when it comes to us black folks, we pretty much are more complacent and fast because we don't really expect to do much because we have arrived. And that's the sad truth, but I gotta keep real. We have arrived to the point where now we don't even see the necessity now, which becomes very dangerous in the long run. My only hope and greater fear, and it's just a fear now, that there were already stories of certain single parents, single mothers especially, where they're trying to take their own children away from certain districts and bring into other productive schools, and even to the point some of them get in trouble where they do time in jail. And that was a story I remember happened in Ohio, I think, but that was like a couple years ago. But now imagine now that they rolled back the Brown versus Board education rule, where they can now start segregating again most of these school systems. If you think it's bad now that when we're on the lockdown, especially when they did the analysis of the stay-at-home experiment with the children, boys and girls, and know some of them were not even doing very well at home, I could only imagine, and I said, really, I could only imagine what really happened once they start segregating, putting all the children into one category, like and all the so-called blacks on one side and the non-blacks on the other side again. It's not going to be fair. No, it's not going to be fair. It's not going to fan out well, in my opinion. It's not going to fan out well. And I'm not saying our people can't really do it, but how we think and how we operate, and we've been complacent for too long, is if you throw us back into wilderness without adapting and the necessary tools, we're going to be eaten by the wolves. And that's what I predict will happen. Like, literally, this will happen. But anyhow, I don't think nobody else has their hands up on the subject. I think I said enough. I don't want to make this one pretty long anyway. When I think about it, because let's be fair and honest, this is not really an enjoyable conversation. And I have to reiterate, because I know the mindset of how the algorithm so-called works and how people's minds works. If it's dealing with education, especially with education, young boys and girls, it's not really the most sexiest, the most inciting, or the even most informative conversation to have. Personally, I look at it as like another avenue to really know and be informed that the work was never done, and we have not gotten close to get to a certain promising position as people. And with regards to, we only got into these positions because of the laws that was put by the government, federal government, that protects us. And now, if they roll back, you're not going to be protected. And if you're not protected, what can you do? What can you do? That's my thinking. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Let me go back. I gotta do something quickly. I gotta do this before. But in any other case, I would like everybody to follow me on a few social media links. Please follow me on Twitter at Chaos27. Add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Green on Facebook. Join my Rumble page, which, if I can find it, I'll add it to it right now. Oh, well, you know, I got some followers on Rumble, so I might have to start doing the uploads. Yeah, that's good. That's a good sign. All right, so please, guys, follow me on Rumble. I would surely appreciate it. I'm gonna get rolled up to a couple followers, so I can start doing some live streams on Rumble, a more open broadcast. Here's the link, Rumble. Don't be hesitant if you catch the replay of this. Follow me on Rumble as well. As I'm growing Rumble, I will probably be more, a little bit more raunchier over there. I'm not saying YouTube can't be raunchy, but you know how YouTube is nowadays. And like I said, I think Rumble, how I look at it, is more of a platform, while it still has not been controlled yet, a place where you can be really honest and being really true to yourself. So follow me on Rumble. Also, please join the Discord service of the Chaos Rain Show as well. And what else? And you can listen to my previous broadcasts on podcasting forums, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, etc. And that's in the About section of my channel on YouTube. And please, I highly suggest become a member of the Chaos Radio Show. Pick your tier, set it, and please do not forget it. That's it. Thank y'all for listening to today's stream. Until next time, take care and good night.